All the khilafat are going to come in now. But you said this, and then you have the other hadith, and tfaddal.
A brother just asked me, it might be actually quite relevant. He asked that if someone does a major sin, for example Zina in Ramadan, what is the expiation for that?
So the brother is asking now, if one commits now a major sin in the month of Ramadan, like committing zina, okay, while he's fasting. First and foremost, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help the Muslims, especially in this month, and to keep us from all types of filth and evil. See, forget about zina. We have, when a person has sexual intercourse with his wife. One having sexual intercourse with his wife while fasting is a major sin. Where do we take this from? جاء رجل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله حلقت. And in some narration it came احترقت. And in other narrations حلقت وأهلكت. A man came to the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم and he said, I have destroyed myself. I have destroyed myself. And in some narrations it comes, I have burnt myself. So the scholars, they took from this wording in this hadith that having sexual intercourse while fasting in the month of Ramadan is what? A major sin. So if that's a major sin, how about the issue of zina? It's more worse, right? So when a person now normally has sexual intercourse in the month of Ramadan while fasting, the kafara upon him is what? He has to free a slave. But we don't have any slaves here in Loughborough, that we can free. This is exactly what came in the hadith. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he asked him, فَهَلْ تَجِدُ مَا تُعْتِقُ رَقَبَةً? Do you have that which is going to now enable you to free a slave? فقال لا. He said no. فهل تستطيع أن تصوم شهرين متتابعين? Do you have the ability to fast 2 months in a row? He said no. Then he asked him, فهل تجد ما تطعم 60 مسكينا? Do you have that which is now going to allow you to feed 60 from the poor? Okay, so these are the 3 things. Even you can memorize these lines of poetry, and inshallah ta'ala you can remember it through that. ويفسد الصوم بوطء وتجب كفارة منه إذا ما يرتكب نهار رمضان بعتق فصيا من فطعام والذي فات قضيا. So these 3 things are mentioned in, and the hukum also in these 2 lines. The point is, this individual can't free a slave, which he can't. He has to move on to the next issue, and this is the tartib. He has to be in order. He has to fast 2 months in a row. He has to fast 2 months in a row, and that's the kafara. His expiation of what he committed and what he done. Wadih? And someone might turn around, and we get Muslims every Ramadan saying this, brother, I can't. I'm like, wallahi, this and that, and I just can't. It's too long. It's 17 hours. You might be able to get away from the creation and dupe them and say that I can't. And nobody's going to judge your heart. But on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you won't be able to get away from Allah Azza wa Jal. Yawm tubla as-sarair. The day when the secrets of an individual is going to become very apparent. And we know that it's what? A very serious sin to break your fast in the month of Ramadan. And this is what Imam al-Dhahabi rahimahullah ta'ala and also Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah mentioned. That breaking your fast in the month of Ramadan while you have the ability to fast is a major sin. It is worse than zina. It is also worse than being a mudmin al-khamar. Somebody who is addicted to what? Khamar, alcohol. Wadih? So anyways, that's a side point on what we're speaking about. He has to do basically what I mentioned, of fasting 2 months in a row. Wadih? And if he can't do that, and genuinely he can't, he has to move on to the next issue, and that is to feed 60 from the poor. And he has to make tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Most importantly, just about to forget that. He needs to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from what he's done. He needs to be crying his eyes out. Especially in this month. Where is the month of what? Doing righteous actions, right? And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi said, Ameen, to what? Huh? When Jibreel alayhi came to him and he said, رَغِمَ أَنْفُ مَنْ أَدْرَكَ رَمَضَانَ فَلَمْ يُغْفَرْ لَهُ. May the nose of that person be dragged on the floor. The month of Ramadan comes and he's not forgiven. And this individual who's committing zina in the month of Ramadan is bad enough outside the month of Ramadan. And the month of Ramadan is, everything is calling you to be forgiven. It's a month of forgiveness. And if you're not being forgiven, wallahi yukhsha alayk. It's really, really afraid for that person. So wallahi, this individual needs to really, sit at night, cry his eyes out, begging Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive that which he committed. And no matter what a person commits, the door of what? Rahmah, forgiveness of mercy, a tawbah is always open. Even if you ended up doing zina with your mom. You committed the worst of the acts. You committed zina, you made tawbah. You committed zina, you make tawbah. Inna Allah yuhibbu tawabin wa yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin. Allah loves those who make tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jal, who constantly go back to Him. Tawab is what? Ala sighat al-mubalagha. Is on the wazn fa'al, meaning somebody who excessively goes back. Allah loves that person. So because maybe you done it again, you shouldn't I remember Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, in his explanation of Sahih Muslim, he mentions this. He mentions this. Even if you end up committing the same sin 1000 marra, 1,000 times, Allah Azza wa Jal can still forgive you. But don't play around with the tawbah of Allah Azza wa Jal. You have to be somebody who is regretful. And he has to make the decision that he's not going to go back to it. And he has to be sincere in that which he's doing. Genuinely, he is going to tell himself, I'm not going to go back to it. If it happens again, make tawbah to Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows what's deeply in your heart if you are playing around with the tawbah of Allah Azza wa Jal.